In this video, I'll be talking about the stock market correction that's been going on, whether or not I think it's an actual stock market correction, and then talk about what I'm doing and what's happening with my portfolio on the Robinhood app. But before I get in the video, if you haven't checked out my channel before, I have it pulled up right here. I talk about investing and the stock market, so if you're interested in anything like that, definitely head over to my channel. And obviously in the past couple of days, I posted, some stocks that'll perform well in a recession. Is the stock market crashing? What should you do? And in that video, I know this is sort of similar, but I actually wanted to more go over not necessarily what you should do, but what I'm going to do, how my portfolio's been doing, and kind of just overall what I think about it more. That video was more like what you could do as an investor versus what's actually happening with me. I kind of wanted to show that firsthand. But anyways, heading on over to the Robinhood app over here. As you can see on the Robinhood app, today down 3.66% my portfolio, which is, obviously somewhat significant. As I guess someone who, knows a little bit more about investing, I'm not super worried about that or anything. Honestly, I don't mind when things like this happen because that honestly leaves more room for me to buy in at certain stocks. Some stocks that I've been wanting to buy in on just were at way too high prices. Even though I'm more of a long-term investor, still some of these stocks I didn't feel comfortable buying at certain prices. But anyways, down quite a bit today, down quite a bit on the week as well, 5%. This is really one of the first weeks ever I think I've really been in the red, especially this significant while on the Robinhood app. Month barely in the red. I actually just hit the red today. As you can see, I was up quite a bit. 3 months still in the green by quite a bit, obviously, so that's not a big deal. And year as well, not even close, still pretty significantly. But nonetheless, drops like these I don't necessarily get too worried about. I just want to kind of more add money to my portfolio. But anyways, going to go through my stocks, see how they're performing, and just kind of talk and narrate a little bit as I go. And I'm going to show the percent change in them because honestly today they got killed. I wish I would have been able to buy a little bit more today, but I just simply didn't add money in today, which I might consider adding some more tomorrow because I actually get paid by my job on Thursday. But anyways, Microsoft, all the tech sector was down pretty significantly. Microsoft, which is a very, very large company, $500 billion company, down 5%. I think they're actually a little bit higher than that. Down pretty significantly right there. I'm still up on the stock, obviously. I actually recently bought a share during this little downward momentum that the stock market's been going through. Facebook down 5%. I would definitely consider buying another share of them, but honestly, I really don't want to put that much money into them right at this moment, and I still have very low average cost. I'd probably rather put it in some stocks that I'm either down on or close to being down on rather than stocks that I am still pretty significantly up on. But anyways, scrolling through it a little bit more, Twitter actually had a really, really good earnings report. I said they were a buy in around, I believe it was either November or December. I can't remember. But obviously, they performed very well. I've been praising them for a little bit while, and honestly, they'd probably be up a little bit more if it wasn't for this the whole entire stock market doing very badly. At the beginning of the day, they were 27%, now down to 12%. But you kind of expect a little bit of a sell-off when things like this happen, or when a stock goes up that significantly. If you look at the past week, they're up quite a bit, but it would have gone up more, I would say, or I'd have to argue if it wasn't for the entire stock market going down. AT&T down quite a bit. I think AT&T's at a pretty decent buying point right now. I bought it around this range, but still in a good buying point. These are just two penny stocks: Sprint, Groupon, Zynga. Nothing big right there. I'm not going to talk about them. Intel, Square down quite a bit. One thing you'll notice if you have a lot of growth stocks tend to be down quite a bit more than other stocks out there, just simply because they're not as I don't know. I guess they just tend to be down more because they're growth stocks rather than some of these like blue chip stocks are able to weather through recession. So you will notice that if your portfolio holds a lot of a lot of growth stocks, that's probably down quite a bit more. Apple down a little bit, not huge. Apple's been down a little bit in the past week. Now moving on to consumer products and everything. If we keep going forward here, Pepsi down a little bit as well. I actually just bought a share of Colgate because I thought they were at a really good buying point actually. So I scooped a share of them. Pretty much just a blue chip stock. One stock that I think would probably perform pretty well during a recession also because they just have a handful of pretty good criteria that I think would fare well during that. But I talked about that in my last video. Nike down quite a bit. Nike might add a couple more shares of them, but obviously I'm still up on them, so that's not a huge deal either. Moving on down my portfolio, GM, I have a couple shares of them. Netflix down a lot. Would love to add another share in Netflix, but once again, one of those stocks I'm still up very, very significantly on, so it would have to dip a lot lower for me to buy in, if I'm being completely honest. Moving on through my portfolio, McDonald's, definitely a stock that I think would perform well during a recession. It was one of the stocks on my list the other day. McDonald's down quite a bit at a pretty, more decent buying point. That's the nice thing about recessions, is that this is actually a pretty decent buying point because McDonald's has pretty much only gone up over the past couple of years or so. But McDonald's, definitely a good stock to look at for a recession. Walmart, another one I just added because this is another somewhat recession-proof stock. As you can see on the day, down a little bit lower than some of the other stocks, but still weak, pretty low. And I think they're at a better buying point than they've been at the past couple of years or so. Next, Starbucks, not actually down a whole lot. One of, I believe, the lowest besides really Twitter that's down in the portfolio so far. 3M down a little bit. Boeing down quite a bit. Boeing, another one of those stocks I'd like to add a couple more shares on. I want to up that sector of my portfolio as well. Johnson & Johnson down. Pfizer down. AbbVie down. And then moving on to the financial section, I probably won't add any more shares in healthcare. I got a pretty decent amount allocated to that, so I probably won't see myself adding more in there anytime soon. Moving on, Morgan Stanley down pretty significantly, down 5% or so. Bank of America down a lot as well. KeyBank down a lot. Glad, Main, and O actually not down that much. I'm not sure if that's because they're REITs or something like that, but honestly, those are just my monthly dividend stocks. I don't like paying attention to them super hard by any means. Southern actually not doing bad. Stocks like these are definitely stocks that aren't necessarily going to perform well during recession, but probably aren't going to get hit as hard. But during times of growth, like as you can see over the past 5 years, they have not performed very well at all. Then moving on through the rest of my portfolio is really just ETFs down here. SPHD, VU, Noble, all down, which isn't obviously surprising if you've been following the market. One other stock I might consider getting into my portfolio is Coke, because I wanted, pretty solid blue chip dividend stock right here, but looking to add them for a little bit. Definitely not a growth stock by any means, just one of those stocks to add a couple of shares of just for really the dividend yield. And I think they're actually at a pretty decent buying point right now. But anyways, that's how my portfolio has been doing. One thing for beginner investors, or if you just download the Robinhood app, this is okay. Don't freak out. One of the better things you can do in this situation right now is add some more shares of stocks rather than get rid of them. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys how my portfolio has been doing, to show you that even myself, obviously, have been getting pretty hard, pretty much regardless of whatever stocks you were holding, unless for some reason you were holding your entire portfolio consisted of Twitter and Snapchat. Your portfolio would probably be in the red in the past week, just so you guys know. Snapchat actually had a really good earnings report as well with Twitter, which are, Twitter I obviously said would a couple months ago. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and let me know what you guys are doing during this little possible stock market correction. What do you guys think's happening? Why do you think it's happening? I would argue that one of the direct impacts are definitely the interest rates, and honestly, there's a lot of going on with politics as well, with the government shutdown. That might be impacting it also, and honestly, a lot of that stuff is probably more short-term than it is long-term. But anyways, this really offers a really good buy-in point. But besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said before, if you're interested in stocks and investing, definitely consider subscribing to my channel, Investing Potentials. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.